Hey guys, it's time to review the fourth episode of Star Wars Acolyte. So, unfortunately, in this episode, there's not really a whole lot that happened either, as far as the overall plot progressing from one point to another. However, there was a lot of traversing from the characters, from location to location, so let's get into it. So, we essentially have two sides of this episode. Kamir and May are on their way to looking for Kalnaka. So they've landed on this planet, Kofor. So their whole journey through this episode, which is shorter than the others, I believe, is essentially after they land on the planet, is them walking into the woods. That's the entirety of their story. And for their side of this episode, May's questioning the stranger. She's questioning why he hides his identity, who he could be. She's just questioning. And her loyalty to either the stranger or her sister Osha, she's now sort of wavering. She doesn't really know who to choose. And Kamir is just sort of there to help his friend out. That's really the story. And that's their version of it. So now that we've recapped everything May did in this episode, which isn't a whole lot, we go to Master Soul. So at the Jedi Temple, Vernestra allows Master Soul to gather a team of Jedi, who he begs to include Osha as part of that, to go to Kofor and bring in Kamnaka, knowing he is being hunted. So in this scene, we actually get a glimpse of Ki-Adi-Mundi. He is not named in the episode. However, if you wait till the end, in the credits, Ki-Adi-Mundi is listed as being a character in the episode. Now, his line in The Phantom Menace, saying that the Sith has been extinct for over a millennia, him being an acolyte now doesn't break canon, necessarily, because Vernestra and the Jedi around him are deciding, they've come to the conclusion they believe May's master was a Jedi. They don't believe May's master is Sith. So right now, Ki-Adi-Mundi is in as much of the dark as the rest of the Jedi are to the Sith's existence. Even if we don't get Palpatine or Plagueis or Tenebris in this show, Palpatine is probably at least at this point alive, whether or not he's a Sith apprentice yet. And Plagueis or Tenebris are alive at this point. So they are already being clouded from the dark side. At this point, whether Kamir turns out to be a Sith Lord or not. So that part of the story is still intact. Now, Soul gathers his team, and we get a new character, the Basil. He's a tracker. We don't know much about him. I don't know if he's meant to be a species we've seen before or not, but he's sort of this interesting, kind of goofy little character. So he's a nice little addition, something different, something new, seeing that the Jedi are using trackers. And something else that's noticeable in the show is it's nice to see the Jedi going out doing their own dirty work. In Clone Wars, they were so reliant on clone troopers, they can send maybe one Jedi at a time to go get the job done. They'll send a couple cruisers, let the clones do most of the work. Right now, the Jedi have to do it themselves, which is kind of interesting. And I believe when I did count the Jedi, there is a shot on Kofor when the Jedi land, excluding Osha, but including Soul. There are 10 Jedi on Kofor right now. So I thought that was really interesting. There's a lot of them marching on just to bring in someone they believe is being hunted. And as they make it into the forest, there's the general something slowing them down. There's bugs in the woods. There's have to be giant bugs, and then they're worried about them, so they continue on cautiously. So I think that's just a plot device to extend the runtime of the episode a little bit. They don't really serve any real purpose. There's just an extra minute or two of screen time that maybe wasn't necessity to the episode. However, it is what it is. As we get to the closing of this episode, Master Soul can sense something there. So now we're getting hints that May's master is there on the planet because Soul is sensing the dark side. That's our assumption. And so when they finally get to Kalnaka, May is already there, and she has now discovered Kalnaka has been murdered already, which she now knows, and as viewer knows, it wasn't her. So this gives us the confirmation May's master is in fact there at the location, and more than likely has not left. Now the Jedi have caught up. They're not confronting May yet. They know May's inside. So now you have all our characters are in one location, but now the stranger kind of comes down from the sky. We don't know if he's gliding, if he's using the wind, if it's some force power. We know he's not using his lightsaber as a helicopter, so that's good news. But however it was done, he's floating down. He lands, flicks Osha away with the force, this powerful little flick, as I'm going to call it. And all 10 Jedi spark their lightsabers, get ready to charge the stranger. He force blasts every single last one of them. And that's how the episode ends. So we get a pretty neat cliffhanger, which is pretty cool because not a lot of the Disney Plus Star Wars series have left off with a cliffhanger. The ones that can be considered cliffhangers just weren't all that thrilling. This one was. And this led into the hype for Star Wars fans going in from episode 4 to 5. So I can't wait to review 5. I plan to do extremely shortly. It was worth the wait. So I'm going to review it pretty soon. Episode 4 overall, it was a slower episode, but it was more interesting than some of the others. So I'm going to get ready to dive into my thoughts for episode 5. Tell me what you guys thought of episode 4. Thanks for watching.